always to put it on the high level and irritate you and provoke you, and then to hit back again. That is very tough game, very tough game. We are the rule of law countries. We should respect the human rights laws and all kinds of laws. And Russia don't give very much about international laws. We also have to be alert in that sense that we are not going to play the game with the notes conducted in Russia.
Welcome to the Black Sky. My name is Piotr Mateusz Bobołowicz, and our guest today is Timo Soini, former Minister of Foreign Affairs of Finland. Good morning, good afternoon.
Hello, and nice that you can have me.
It's always for me a question how to greet guests when it's 11 o'clock in Poland, 12 o'clock in Finland.
It's good morning and good noon and good all day. It's beautiful, beautiful spring day here. Sun is shining on the open sky. It's very nice and warm. Not typical Finnish weather.
It's not that nice today in Warsaw. We have some clouds,
okay.
But we are not here to talk about weather. However, I'm very happy it's nice weather in Finland, and actually it is an important component. But we'll get to it later because right now I would like to ask you, in the last 2 days, we've heard that Russian Ministry of Defense proposed a bill that would unilaterally change the maritime borders with Lithuania and Finland. And there was a strong reaction from practically all Baltic Sea countries, including Poland, including Sweden, including, of course, Finland. The Minister of Foreign Affairs issued a statement, and yesterday it was reported that that bill is no longer being proceeded, but it was proposed, it was on the agenda. And why do you think was it proposed? What's the purpose? What's the aim of Russia announcing this will to change maritime borders with NATO countries?
This is a tricky question, and it makes me wonder what is behind of all this. And if we think, which is a possibility, that this was a hybrid operation, then then Russians most likely got they wanted, because what they want always is a reaction, alarm, fear, that kind of counter operations in a way. But whether it was a routing operation, or was it real will to change the borders, or was it a hybrid operation, we don't know. But what we do know, that what you said, it was in their pages. Was it prematurely there, or was it a test ball, or what it was? But they got the reaction. Right or wrong, it was a quite heavy one. Everybody reacted because they had to. For example, in Finland, president and foreign minister reacted very calm way, but anyway. And there are different traditions to react to Russia because of the historical reasons, because what is going on in Ukraine. But unilaterally, it was a big deal to change the balance and borders, even in a principled way. It was a kind of the wake-up call that Russia is active all the way, also in maritime, and we have seen a lot of GPS disturbances to the airways, and we have had a lot of cyber operations with ICT matters. So in that sense, this may not be a surprise, but it also could be a kind of test ball that what could happen, because it seems to me that all the preparations were not there. And if we look at the possible consequence, if they really go further on this way, it's very hard for me to believe that they actually do want to risk their own maritime ways from St. Petersburg to the open seas. And that was something Lithuania already reacted that if that is the case, it may be also the counter activities to the Russian trade.
Do you think that this reaction, maybe if it was a test, and we know Russia is usually testing red lines if the red
Yeah.
lines are really red, and Europe and the West in general tends to be rather, I would say, not harsh enough. And Russia is pushing the borders further and further. So, do you think that maybe it was kind of a success in this struggle of power, that this strong reaction, immediate reaction, was exactly what told Russia, okay, that's the line you cannot cross?
Yeah, this is very interesting. If we look the background and what happened prior the Russian attack to Ukraine, it was most of the countries in Europe didn't believe actually that Russia is going to attack. Most of Ukrainians even didn't believe. But Baltic countries, Poland, Great Britain, and US, they knew better. They warned all the time that they are gathering the troops and blood plasma and all kind of preparational activities in order to enable an attack. What then happened? And I think this is something we must take into account this time. And I can see even the kind of same kind of divide in the Western camp, that the countries who had bad everyday examples around about Russian activities are reacting more hard way and more tougher way than the others. But it's very hard to understand or to know what was the purpose of this, because Russia, this is my experience as a foreign minister for 4 years, as a chair of the foreign relations committee in the Finnish House, also for 4 years prior that. But Russia always, when it reacts, wants to play in the political ground. And we in Finland, we always wanted to go with civil servants and border guards, and so put that in the civil level. And Russia always wanted to upgrade into the political field and political level. And I think this is one of the big issues how the Russia are working. When you put that on the political level, the risk of misinterpret the things is higher. And then when a political figure says something, you cannot hold that bullet back. But if it's through civil servants, and it's a very tricky situation, you can give time to the committees or the people to solve the problem. But in nowadays world, which is also information world, with Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and everything, it's a matter of reacting very quickly. And that is why I think one of the big tactics about these issues on the Russian side is to put the ball in the air and get the political reaction in order, if you want to really solve this kind of problems, you have to have civil servants, officers from the foreign ministry or ministry for defense to make the preliminary work in order to have a look what is the real situation. Because the ministers, when their days are uptight with the time, if they haven't got a correct background information and the reaction is demand, the chance to say something mistakenly is also bigger. This is one of the Russian tactics. They want always to put it on the high level and irritate you and provocate you and provoke you, and then to hit back again. That is very tough game. Very tough game.
I said that the weather in Finland is actually meaningful for our conversation, and it is. It's right now. It's spring. The weather changed. It's not harsh winter. It's not
Yeah.
muddy, and it's not raining. And those were the things that were protecting in a way Finnish border. You
Yes.
have the longest border, NATO border with Russia, land border, which is
Yeah.
mostly in the forest, on the marshes. So bad weather is definitely something that's helping Finland in protecting its
Yes.
border. But
Yes.
right now, with the spring, it's probably not enough, the forest and the weather. So Finland is proposing a new bill was proposed, a new law that would allow pushbacks of illegal immigrants. And
Yeah.
we know well also in Poland, our prime minister stated it during a press conference earlier this week, that those are not real migrants. Those are the tools of Russian aggression. It's organized by Russia, and all this migration on Polish border with Belarus and Finnish border with Russia is actually organized by Russian state to destabilize the situation. So
Yeah.
what do you think of this law? Is it a good solution to allow pushbacks to reduce asylum seekers, the number of asylum seekers in Finland?
Yeah, you are very right. How do you describe what has happened in your borders and in our borders? It's good to realize that the Finnish border against Russia is 1,340 kilometers long. It's longer than all the other NATO countries combined, and we have or used to have 6 border checks places from south to the up north where you can cross a border from Finland to Russia and vice versa. And all these used to be open to cross, if you have the visa. And when Russia first time used that weapon 2015, they organized the asylum seekers wave first to Norway, then to Finland, and we had to close some of the border checks. And so we started when the new operation started roughly a year ago. We started the same thing, but now when we closed 1 or 2 border checks, they went to the next one, and now they have been all closed for months. And like you said, when the weather is bad and when it's cold, it's not very easy to cross the border in the woods. But now when the weather is better, there is open questions in our minds that what if Russia allows those people to go to cross the border from Russia to Finland? And that is the big question. And how this normally was dealt, there is a buffer zone on both sides of the border for 200 meters or something like that, that Russia didn't let those people to the border zone if they didn't have necessary documents and visas to enter Finland. And this went on for decades, and it was good. But they have now, during this operation, and also without any war in Ukraine 2050s, they have been checking this. And like you said, this is a hybrid operation where the immigrants or asylum seekers are used as a weapon. They are part of the hybrid operation and used by the weapon. And they know that the Baltic countries, Poland, Finland, we are the rule of law countries. We should respect the human rights laws and all kinds of laws. And Russia don't give very much about international laws. And it's very hard when we have to act the way, even if it's organized operation against us, to deny the grounds of the international law. But this is why the new law has been going through the ranks of our parliament in order to enable the pushbacks as a last call or last card to protect our country, because if we allow this to happen, a free flow, there will be thousands and thousands of coming. And this is also the Russian test. They are following how our parliamentary system, how our civil servants, how our media is reacting on this. And they want to show the world and to everybody that there is a chaos in the countries. They are not respecting their own laws or international laws. This is all Russian game. Very rough, very hard to use those people who have paid fortunes to the human traffickers who are exploiting them. And like you said, Russia is officially part of this, organizing and enabling this through FSB or army or police forces or whatever way. We know that without the acceptance of the Russian officials, there is nobody moving in the border zone.
Do you think that the eastern flank of NATO countries should denounce the Ottawa Treaty and start mining our borders?
Yes, we should, because that is it's not only about Poland, Lithuania, or Finland. All our borders are outer borders of the European Union. If you can cross the border in Poland or in Finland, you have a free ride to Spain or Italy or to Germany. And this is why this is a matter of seriousness also what comes to the European Union, what comes to the whole European idea. And that is why we have to be alert, and we have to tell this very clearly to the bigger countries which haven't got the instant border with Russia, that this is important, this is serious, and actually it is Germany and countries like that, and also here in northern Europe, who are receiving the wave. But most likely, the end game will be played in the German soil. Not many asylum seekers are going to stay maybe in Lithuania or in Latvia. They will go through those countries to the Central Europe.
There is this big discussion in the United States if the United States should allow or maybe even encourage Ukrainian attacks on Russian territory. But we've heard about attacks on Russian territory near Finnish border in Viipuri, right? Last week, I think, the refinery was attacked. Don't you fear that with Ukraine acting in Russia, Russia will accuse, for example, Finland in this case, of attacking actually, or allowing attacks from Finnish territory. I'm not sure. I don't think it was.
They can create all kind of provocations, but we also want and have to be calm because Russia do know that Finland or whatever Baltic country is not a threat to Russia. It's their rhetoric. It's their game. But we have to be alert, and this is a very tricky game, and we must be also very skillful in that. That when they provoke, not to be provoked in the manner or how they have counted it for. It's important that our intelligence, our cooperation with all of the border countries, the change of information and ideas and practices are ongoing, and there should be trust between us who are allies in the European Union and also in the NATO. But Russia will use whatever lie possible, but we also have to be alert in that sense that we are not going to play the game with the notes conducted in Russia. We should have our own plan and our own end game. And this is a tricky question what you arised. In general, that is it acceptable for Ukraine to go to the Russian soil? And that has been happening in some places, and it can be said that it can be also a matter of defense if you are destroying some of Russian attacking power lying in the Russian side of the border. But what comes to the individual countries, I think it would be good in the NATO connections to have a discussion and a common plan, because we know that the attack to the one NATO country will be attack to the all NATO countries, and that is a very big protecting shield to us. And Russia wants always to divide, to get the slice of the cake, Lithuania this way, Finland that way, because they are always stronger when they are considering the one country. They are always bigger. But if they have to adapt the strategy to the whole European Union, to the whole NATO, they are always weak. And that is very important to remember, to stay unified, to stay firm, have a plan of our own, and be precise what is our message. And our main message is that we are not threatening anybody. The aggressor is Russia, who attacked illegally and brutally to Ukraine and to its people.
And right now, Russia is going to have very good opportunity to divide the European Union, to divide this European unity, because we have upcoming elections to the European Parliament. And we have this so-called, they call themselves the Party of Peace, and they are telling everyone we should have peace with Russia, no more war, no more weapons supplied to Ukraine. How do you think Russia is going to influence these elections, especially in Finland?
I think that Finland and Baltic countries and also Poland, we are quite immune because we know Russia and we have a lot of experience of Russia and Soviet Union and those kind of times. But the real aim is in the big countries in the Central Europe, and there are certain political movements who have been cooperating with Putin establishment and even got some loans or money from there. And this is the Russian, how would I say, they have composed their music the way that they are denazificating the Ukraine, and Ukraine is the aggressor, and that is of course total lie. But when war is awful, then when they talk about peace, we can have a peace straight away if Russia got back from Ukraine and leaves the countries and the parts of the country whom they have invaded. The war ends that day. But what they want to change the government in Kiev, and they want at least to hold the countries they have or the areas they have occupied. And if this is their peace, there cannot be peace without justice. No peace without justice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Piotr.
Our guest was Timo Soini, former Minister of Foreign Affairs of Finland.